What's going on, guys? It's gonna be day. What day is it? What day is it? What day is it? Okay, this is gonna be diving deeper day 6, I believe. This is gonna be diving deeper day 6. What's today? Oh, I had to recap these days over here. All right, well, we're just gonna skip that. Um, so I had forward calls from last week. I already talked about this in the weekly scan. If you guys didn't know, it's a simple chart where this is the shakeout spot down here. Okay, so let's delete this out of the way. This is your shakeout spot, and then you get your rip higher, and then what do you get? A retest and a higher low. What's that higher low off of? Take swing low, swing high. It's a discounted range. It's a $12 psych false break uh, down. This whole area is. So even if you look at this from like the 4 hour, even in the daily, right? It's a breakdown that failed, and then it retested, found a higher low off of it, and then it held with strength here. Okay, and then we got exhaustion volume with an inside bar, really low volume right off of the support level. And then another really low volume, strong, nice move for the day. Given the fact that that closed near the highs was telling me that, okay, there's probably a lack of supply here, given the fact that we reclaimed the support after a failure breakdown candle, which is this one. On top of that, guys, where's the resistance here? I mean, it's $12 and like 25 cents, 20, 30 cents. But other than that, guys, where is really the resistance coming from? I guess you could call this little gap from over here where the heavy volume progressive candles were formulating from could be an area. But given the fact that this chart really just never had any alarming sell side moves and more and less just found a higher low and based and based and based, led me to believe that the expansion is now up into here. Now up into here, right? Maybe like give yourself a little bit of a buffered zone, but when you're executing off of this spot, which was last week's Friday, and you're holding 12, and then you get ever so slightly a grind higher into the close, where are we probably moving to? Well, we're moving to this gap, in my opinion, so 1220, and then I'm looking for a break of the resistance itself, and probably a move up into what we would call the external resistance. So something that looks like this up here, 1250. I told you guys I wanted the 12.5 calls in the money. Guess what happened? 12.5 calls went into the money today. We were 2 cents above 12.5 for the high day today. So that's that. INTC's been on watch. I was looking at this live and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we got the gap down. However, on that gap down, what happened? Well, we got a previous gap down, kind of just held the support. Another gap down into support, held it, based, got a volume increase pop at 10:15 a.m., then started basing the opening print for a higher low. I was like, okay, this is now going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to be the 7/10th test of a resistance over here, guys. Right, so whenever I see that there's no volume up here off the resistance and it finds a higher low, and then I start finding some momentum for another third higher low for the day off of what looks to be kind of just, if you go to like the hourly, here it is, the hourly, just a simple staircase higher. And this was a progression spot. So it rejected off that area, which it's a little bit different on the daily chart in comparison to where slower time frames show. But there wasn't a lot of sellers off of this spot, and they really dried up where a higher low would be. So I executed like over here, and then it found a higher low, and then a close. It was just a quick little scalp. I actually got in down here, stopped, re-entered, stopped, re-entered. So I got like a 20% net profit on that trade, but it's really dumb trade, not anything too crazy. Now the trade of the day was Google. I was short this yesterday. I talked about the 1 hour progression. I talked about this bearish progression being claimed as bullish, a bullish claim of this previous bearish spot. This is where news inventory was marked down into a gap down here, reaccumulated and closed back near highs, and then pushed back down, flagged out, put in a absorption candle, hammer candle. But that was the Friday squeeze, and that's a lot of 0DT support that could be dampened. I talked about this. This is just looking like a false bull flag breakout, man. Right, so what did I look for right off the open? Quick blood, took swing low, swing high. Talked about the target yesterday. Swing low, swing high. I'm looking for this little zone right here for my target. This 50 GP. What do we get right off the open? A knife from 175 down into 172, 173. $2 move on top of where I executed this from, which was, where was this? Right over here on like one of these candles that broke down. I actually went red a little bit on the position on this little retest, which is funny. I exited up here, over here. I can't remember. I added a couple times into Friday, but the retest was a beautiful opportunity. And then it bled into close, which really led me to believe that we're going for this range, right? The close is always important, or this bull gap fill, which was the first initial target that I had. And then we got a candle close beneath that, and then I milked the trade for 120% down here into the 618, which was this week expiry calls along with monthlies that did pretty well. But um, I already realized on those again, and then I had the rest of my runners that stopped on the news, which I wasn't even paying attention to. So yeah, that's that. Wasn't even really aware of what came out with Google. But it's funny enough how we get a test down into that spot where my target area was, and then we start finding little to no buyer, and then the news comes out and creates you know, the manipulation for any sort of, you know, move higher just based off of where news needs to generate liquidity at particular spots, especially if a bull has a plan, any big money intention, anything like that. News will oftentimes come out at very like not sketch, but like spots that make sense on the chart, or just for their wants and needs. So yeah, that's that. Um, And I didn't technically have monthlies because I had end of June's, by the way, with with Google Puts. So, geez, a fly just flew in my face, sorry. But yeah, I had like a 170 put for the end of June. I didn't have anything crazy with the time, but it was more or less just to protect the fact that I was sized in some weeklies on lower expiration, but I'm used to it. And then basically what those did from basically what those did from open today up until up until like where our lows was like I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I'm up decent amounts on this trade. I should probably just because I was executing over here at like it was like 150 a con, and then I saw this major pop down into here go to like 250, and then I didn't take it. Then it went back down to like 220 from 150. And plus, on top of that, I'll do the 120%. So I was like, dude, why would I not take this going into a Monday with CPI, with initial jobless claims? I'm so tired explaining all this, right, by the way, right now, guys. But I got like no sleep. But yeah, that's also kind of why I didn't trade much today and just worked with the positions that I did have because they were green and risk free. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let this create the day for me. And then if anything bad happens, it's really just gonna be giving up profits. And then I never let anything bad happen. I more or less just had stop loss break even on half size of the trade over here, and unfortunately we did catch a news candle, which is why you always want to be managing your risk with a trailing that still puts you in the green on a trade. And then Ford kind of led the way throughout the whole entire morning, and then I realized what I did was I saw the momentum off the open. If you go into I saw this immediate pop at 9, like right into the open, and then we start moving. We get some strong momentum higher, and what this does is it fills this little gap up here, and it starts closing above and looking like a red to green candle on really heavy volume, and volume was very notable over here, um, like meaning early morning volume. You don't typically see volume that looks like this. Look at that 15-minute volume over here to start the morning, especially with those spreads, guys. That's a lot of volume. And we did get a lot of volume in the close, so this is just overall a high volume day. This is the highest volume day ever since all the way back here at the end of April, right? So relative to the local daily candles, local chart, this is definitely heavy volume. The last volume that exceeded this volume was a minus 4.71% move on the underlying for the day. And then like the volume before that was like, this was actually just a very swingy price action kind of day where you gap down and then you move higher and then lower or lower then higher. You can't really tell, but you could just see how the volatility and spread of the candle really increases over here, um, on this type of volume within the ranges of what we had today, 68 million. This was 86 million. So you catch a 6% move on the underlying on forward, guys, on even monthlies and on an intraday rip. I mean, I would have to probably think that's. I could go check actually, but I would have to probably think that's. Let's go check at the end of this. Let's go check at forward end of this month expiry. So I just want to put this into perspective. We're gonna go with July 12th, so I can really show you guys what I mean by this. And it's funny because I'm looking at the end of July 32-day till expiration forward chain right now. Obviously, there's some illiquid contracts within here, but yeah, the one strike out of the money, the 12.5s that I said I wanted in the money, they do only have 582 open interest, which is nothing for a $38 premium. But those did 52% today on 32 days till expiry. So yeah, you guys don't need to trade short time. You don't need to trade super long time though either. But yeah, guys, I mean these were just on Friday at 20 bucks. They hit a high of 42 today, and that's 32 days of time. So that really just goes to show you that with some of these trades on these cheaper premium names that have whatever the implied vol is on these, I want to say it's like something really dumb. If we look at like the most liquid chain, here we'll go with next week expiry over here. Okay, my chain's bugged. Sorry about that, but it looks like implied vol you're catching like 40 to 20%, um, and the premium's really cheap, right? So I can see what the delta is on these. Yeah, so the delta's 0.44. So when you're catching a whole entire dollar on forward, you're basically getting well over 100%, usually, on the expiry I'm playing, right? So that's why I said on the scan, you don't need to have a lot of money on these to make money. This was a real, didn't really, I'm taking this off the focus list, but in terms of focuses for tomorrow, I'm gonna be focusing this still, like I talked about. Like I said, this is a candle where you don't necessarily want to short, but you want to see if you get the false breakout. If you don't, look for this to distribute into previous swing highs. Look for it to potentially start losing 192.53, right? And then what will I be looking for? I will be looking for potentially something that either looks like this. Boom, boom, boom. Or something as simple as this. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so we'll see with Apple. I said this was going to start distributing, given the fact that this was technically seller dominance in my opinion over here, and this was hidden distribution, and then it started grinding its way higher in really low volume. Then you're getting your secondary absorption candle that could potentially be in play up here with a lot of volume relative to what's been happening locally ever since the beginning of May. We're in June now, so that's well over a month, highest volume in well over a month. And this is the earnings candle. The earnings candle also did sell off and put a shallow higher low in, which definitely put some speculation in my brain, I must gotta say. So we'll see. Nothing too crazy right now. Um, Nothing too crazy within the market right now. Um, I do like Schwab. This is a little bear flag look. So what I'm really looking for Schwab would be like probably something that looks like this. So a failure above this high, if that makes sense. And then obviously the gap fill itself. You can pull fibs from low to high. Start looking at the 618. That's kind of just what my chart looks like right now. It's a little bit messy, but yeah, that's how it looks. And then what I'd be looking for in terms of a retest or a profit target, it would probably be like high 60s if I were to buy some time and short this. So I don't know. We'll see. These are very alarming candles from the top. It's a top heavy chart. It could take some time to play out, but I'm looking at some financials that look relatively ugly. BAC looks good. Like there's some financials that look good, some financials that look bad. So we kind of gotta wait out and wait out and let it play out. Um, there's nothing that looks too crazy though. Obviously, solar AI doesn't look bad, but like those aren't entries I'm really willing to chase though. I talked with my one buddy, Rocky Beat. What did he told me to look at these casino names. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're looking at like some sort of inverse head and shoulders, but I'm not a big pattern trader. I don't know what they're looking at, but yeah, guys, in terms of like charts that I have on the focus, this is just not necessarily something that I'm really looking for. I'm ultimately just going to be looking at Ford again, INTC and FDX. Those are kind of that's pretty much my game plan. Um, Basically just looking for like a break and base and go because I think FDX definitely is ready and primed to go. So I'd be looking for something that looks like boom, 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 something like that. Don't know why I have this level over here. But yeah, technically we do have sell side imbalance above this spot right over here. So we'll see. But dude, oh my gosh, it won't, sorry. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for, guys. I don't know. We'll see what goes on with this one, but yep, that's just kind of what I'm looking at. Nothing too special here. I think there was one more that I wanted to talk about. Oh, Marvel. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking for redistribution of some sort on a name that has already been in some distribution, but we never really got the markdown phase. Now that could be a local spring down here, but there's not a lot of volume behind it. We're getting a lot of sell side dominant volume up here, right? So I'd be looking for some sort of, it's very similar to the Schwab, maybe not as clean, but I really like this established support, and there's a lot of money built here. So I'd be looking for like boom, 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 or like something that just looks like this. All right, so I don't know. We'll see. You could always take swing low, swing high fibs. Start looking at like the 72 psych above this high for a failure. Um, could go into your hourly and take a look at how heavy this thing really did sell off over here. And then I don't really see any strong buyer over here. It might want to wipe out this high or continue its way a little bit higher. But yeah, there's not really much of an execution spot to really take advantage of in the chart. So I'm just going to really let intraday price action and like daily candle closes, everything like that really unfold the story for me. So, yep,